Thank you for subscribing to our channel. Today is Monday, May 3, 2021. Deutsche Welle report. Colombia. At least 17 dead in days-long protests. Colombian authorities said on Monday at least 17 people have died and more than 800 have been injured during a 5-day-long protest against a proposed government tax reform bill. According to Colombia's ombudsman's office, 16 civilians and 1 police officer died in the clashes, while 846 people, including 306 civilians, were wounded. At least 431 people have been detained by authorities during rallies that have drawn tens of thousands of protesters amid a deadly coronavirus outbreak.
Fox report. Iran sought nuclear weapons technology for WMDs last year, reports find. The Islamic Republic of Iran made multiple attempts in 2020 to obtain technology for its weapons of mass destruction program and has not stopped its drive to develop atomic weapons. Intelligence agencies from the Netherlands, Sweden and Germany recently reported. The Netherlands General Intelligence and Security Service investigated networks that tried to obtain the knowledge and materials to develop weapons of mass destruction. Multiple acquisition attempts have been frustrated by the intervention of the services.
CNN report. San Diego captain of suspected smuggling vessel in custody after boat overturned, killing 3. Here's what we know. The person believed to have been operating a suspected smuggling vessel that overturned off the coast of San Diego Sunday, killing 3 people, is in custody. There were 32 people aboard the 40-foot cabin cruiser, including the captain, when the boat hit the reef and broke apart near the Cabrillo National Monument in Point Loma around 10:30 a.m. PT. Authorities said in an update Monday. 29 people survived and 3 died, officials said.
BBC report. Canadian sign war captivates the Internet. It started as a battle between 2 businesses in the Ontario town, Speedy Glass and Dairy Queen, DQ, and has since spread to the entire town and even further afield. Locals have been joining in, creating fun mottos for their business sign. There are thousands of signs on local businesses from our town alone to neighbouring towns and cities and counties, Trevor Cork, owner of Speedy Glass, told the BBC.
CNN report. CNN poll. Americans are divided on what causes problems in U.S. elections. Amid a flurry of changes to voting rules and regulations across the country, the American public is divided over whether the bigger problem with elections in America is that it is too hard to vote or that it is too easy to cheat. According to a new CNN poll conducted by SSRS, partisans are on opposite sides of that question, and are divided over the effect several prominent rule changes would have on the fairness of elections in the United States.
Al Jazeera report. War and doubt slow COVID vaccination in disputed Yemen city. In Al Thara Hospital in the disputed Yemeni city of Taiz, a nurse with no face mask or protective gear inoculates the few people who have shown interest in the COVID-19 vaccine. She picks an AstraZeneca vial from a cooler box, warms it with her hands and invokes the name of God before injecting the shot into a man's left arm. Yemen has received 360,000 doses from the global COVAX vaccine sharing scheme, yet many Yemenis seem reluctant to get inoculated on religious grounds, due to distrust of the vaccine, or because of the dangers of war.
Deutsche Welle report. Ebola outbreak in Dr. Congo declared to be over. The Democratic Republic of Congo on Monday declared the end of an Ebola outbreak that killed 6 people in the eastern province of North Kivu. 12 people in total were infected in the outbreak that was eventually contained using Merck's Ebola vaccine. The vaccine was administered to more than 1,600 people who had been in contact with the patients. The humanitarian aid group Médecins Sans Frontières, MSF, reported.
CNN report. German police bust child sex abuse imagery network with 400,000 users. German police have arrested 3 people in connection with one of the world's largest platforms containing child sex abuse materials, prosecutors said Monday. A 4th person was arrested in Paraguay, according to Interpol. The online platform, which was known as Boys Town and was hosted on the dark web, had 400,000 registered users when it was taken offline by an international task force. The global team, spearheaded by the German Federal Criminal Police, the Bundeskriminalamt, BKA, included the European Union Agency for Law Enforcement Cooperation, Europol, and law enforcement agencies from the Netherlands, Sweden, Australia, Canada and the United States.
Deutsche Welle report. COVID. Germany presses ahead with freedoms for vaccinated people. Germany Health Minister Jens Spahn on Monday said he hoped that a loosening of lockdown restrictions for vaccinated individuals, or people who have recovered from COVID-19, would be possible within the week. Approval for the law was given at a meeting of ministers. It must now pass in Germany's lower house, the Bundestag, and the upper Bundesrat. Spahn said that signs from talks with members of the German lower house of parliament, and with Germany's 16 states, were very good.
BBC report. COVAX. How will COVID vaccines be shared around the world? An international effort, known as the COVAX scheme, was set up last year to try and ensure fair access to vaccines among rich and poor nations, but the global situation remains vastly uneven. More than 49 million vaccine doses have been delivered through COVAX so far. The scheme is co-led by the World Health Organization, WHO, the Global Vaccine Alliance, Gavi, and the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, CEPI, with the UN Children's Fund, UNICEF, as key implementation partner.
Al Jazeera report. Digital Dollar Project to pilot U.S. central bank digital currency. The United States-based nonprofit Digital Dollar Project announced on Monday it will launch 5 pilot programs over the next 12 months to test the potential uses of a U.S. central bank digital currency, the first effort of its kind in the country. The private sector pilots will be initially funded by Accenture plc and involve financial firms, retailers and nonprofit organizations, among others. The aim is to generate data that could help U.S. policymakers develop a digital dollar.
Fox report. Philippines FM tells China to get the F out in tweet over South China Sea dispute. Teodoro Lachin, the Philippine foreign minister, took to Twitter on Monday to criticize China over what he called Beijing's illegal activities in the South China Sea. A report said, "China, my friend, how politely can I put it? Let me see. Oh, get the F out," he posted on his personal account without the censor. His tweet continued, "What are you doing to our friendship? You. Not us. We're trying. You. You're like an ugly oaf forcing your attentions on a handsome guy who wants to be a friend. Not to father a Chinese province."
Fox report. Wisconsin police ID Radisson hotel shooter as Bruce Poffall. The gunman who shot and killed 2 restaurant workers at a Wisconsin hotel and casino complex was a disgruntled former employee who was banned from the eatery, police said Monday. Bruce K. Poffall, 62, a former employee of the Duck Creek Kitchen and Bar, walked into the restaurant at the Radisson Hotel on Saturday with a handgun and opened fire, Brown County Sheriff Todd Delane said during a press conference.
BBC report. Taiwan Strait. Claim man who crossed sea in dinghy investigated. The Chinese man, 33, told police he crossed the 100-mile, 160 kilometers, stretch in search of freedom and democracy. Patrolled by hundreds of vessels, the Taiwan Strait is one of the most heavily policed waterways in the world. Taiwanese authorities are looking into whether security shortcomings had made the journey possible. Mr. Zhou had made the journey in a 2.6 meters by 1.5 meters, 8.8 feet by 5 feet, rubber dinghy he had bought on the internet and fitted with an outboard motor, according to the Washington Post.
CNN report. A Chinese Communist Party-linked account mocked India's COVID crisis on social media. It backfired. For most of China, last week's launch of the first module of its planned space station was simply a moment of pride. But for one social media account linked to the ruling Communist Party, it was a crass opportunity to mock India's COVID-19 tragedy. On the microblogging platform Weibo, the account posted a photo of the Chinese Long March 5B carrier rocket blasting off, alongside a picture of cremation pyres burning at night in India under the watch of people in hazmat suits.
Fox report. Nevada allows brothels to reopen after a year, with new protection in place. Nevada brothels have started to reopen, with counties that allow legal sex work resuming operation after Gov. Steve Sisolak devolved responsibility of some coronavirus guidance to individual counties on May 1. The state legalized prostitution in brothels, but only certain counties allow brothels within their borders. State law bans brothels in counties that have more than 700,000 inhabitants. Sex workers struggled to support themselves after businesses closed down during the pandemic, and they are eager to return to work, even with precautions in place.
Al Jazeera report. India COVID cases soar as oxygen, vaccine shortages continue. Hospitals in India continue to send distress messages for emergency oxygen supplies, and a top vaccine maker warned a vaccine shortfall could last for several months, as the country's coronavirus case count approached 20 million on Monday. India reported 368,147 new infections over the previous 24 hours, taking the number of people who have suffered an infection so far to 19.93 million. Government data showed the second highest in the world.
Thank you for watching 5 p.m. recap. To be notified, you can subscribe our channel and activate the bell.